Hey, check out the new game. Incoming December. Okay, well, that was fast. Welcome to Crave. Hi, Licorice. Thanks for getting our game. Join us at the Discord. Warning, in real life, I'm off-center. In real life caving, the cave environment must remain undisturbed. Marking walls or breaking formations should never be attempted in reality. I see your messages on my hand. Looking, me spotted. I love having decombos with yourself. Do you see this? Oh, you do see this. Oh my god, your hands are white. You thought that I was Asian. You're getting cancelled. You're getting cancelled, chat. You're getting cancelled. Your name is on screen. You're getting cancelled. You don't have claustrophobia, but you do have a fear of claustrophobia. Please don't get scared of the small space. Good luck, because if you have fear of small spaces, you're gonna hate having to be, I don't know, something about jail. I was gonna say, like, you have no space in the jail because you've been cancelled. Welcome to Crave. If you made this game, I'm sorry that I started the VOD for your game like this. It's not my fault. That's just what the chat said, okay? But this is a game about cave diving, which is terrifying because I hate caves. Again, the story of that kid who goes caving with his father, and they go into a cave, and then they see a bunch of spiders fall on their head. That's terrifying to me. What'd you say? You have a fear of someone having a fear of claustrophobia. Also, you challenged me to a bingo board lockout challenge of a game neither of us have ever played. Maybe. A variable game mode storage. Complete all storage chapters to unlock other modes. Sure. Also, if the view is shaky, there's nothing I can really do about it. It's just the way that my head is, okay? That's just normal heads. Learn the game as you uncover Jake's journey to find his missing father. I'm sorry? I'm sorry, what? His missing father? His missing If your headlamp battery dies, no progress will be saved. If you're missing father, baby steps. People say you need to be the size of a baby to squeeze through some tight spots here. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna go in and find my missing father. How's this gonna go? Exhaling hair from your lungs will help you pass through tight tunnels. Okay. So what I know about cave diving is this. If you want to go in deep, you have to be able to, oh shit, hold the triggers to skip the intro. No.
A tape.
What? There's a story.
13 years with no message, and he leaves me a tape on the bottom of some goddamn cave.
Wait, that's
Great
funny.
comeback, Dad. Just great.
So, father and son both get into cave diving. Hold A on left controller to open the tablet. Oh shit, I have a tablet. Here you can find the current mission objective. Hold A on the left controller to close it again. Tap left stick to change. Oh! This is an amazing VR experience as is. It's actually really good. Wow. Short king advantage. There's literally a crouch button. Now, I didn't expect this game to have a story. I knew it was going to be a really cool climbing game, but I didn't expect it to have a story, because usually these games don't really have much of a story to them. Usually it's just a matter of you go in and you play the game, right? Most VR games actually in the general tend to feel like that, where you're just playing the game and you just go through the mechanics. Button copium. I swear it's a button, please. I swear.
Jake.
You're here, father.
Boy.
That's my boy.
Grab my old headlamp from the back of the chamber, and we'll soon light this whole situation up. I promise.
Okay,
And
Dad.
this time, it's for real.
Okay, Dad. I'm gonna try to find your headlamp. Now, the problem with this game is that because I'm playing seated, because I only have one of the VR cameras, it's gonna be hard for me to do this. And also, looking at chat's gonna be difficult. We're just gonna see how it goes. But yeah, most VR games these days, I feel tend to have just pure gameplay, which isn't bad. But when I think about a VR game, I think of something like this. You can have gameplay, which is very nice, but I think one of the things that you have to have is a story, because the interesting thing about the VR space is the immersion that you can have, right? I do think it's difficult to make a story in VR. It's going to require a lot of work to try to make it interesting and good and solid, because I think it has a different problem from FPS games, where it's first-person games that are on desktop. It's easier to sort of immerse yourself because you know that you're not playing somebody, whereas in VR, you know that you're yourself. So it's sort of how do you make the player immersed into it? But it all depends on whether or not the story is going to be interesting. And at least to start with, this idea of our father leaving us a tape instead of a random cave and saying, hey, think about how we were. Like my father is speaking to me through cave diving. That's interesting. Let's hope the headlamp works after 13 years. Release the grip on my head.
Right. Touch your head now.
Okay.
You'll see a small white circle.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
Hold the trigger and move your hand back and forth to adjust the light beam.
Okay.
I can't really ask you for patience, but please.
It's like I'm jerking off. It's like I'm
You'll
jerking
find
off
out
my
why
head.
we're here, so how we get to the answer is
It's like I'm jerking off my head.
For now, we just need to get to the second cave exit.
I don't know how to explain this. It's the same motion of jerking someone off. Or like jerking yourself off. It's the exact same motion. And what's crazy about the motion is this must be like what your pet feels like when you pet them. Touch the other head. Okay, well, this works. It's actually very solid in terms of controls. And I like that you can even play seated, and I like how it gives you full smooth locomotion. Oh shit, here we go. Oh shit, I gotta move things off my desk, chat. I almost spilled the coffee and my soy sauce.
Haven't forgotten how.
Oh shit, just give me a second. Welcome to the problems of streaming in VR. Streaming in VR is not an easy task. I need to move. Yeah, and you may ask me why I have soy sauce on my desk. It's because you can't have enough soy sauce. Some places when you get food, there's just not enough soy sauce. Do I add soy sauce to my coffee? Yes. It tastes good. It actually tastes good. Okay, so here is the hands. So I can just hold this and I can. Oh, here we go, chat. You can like. Oh my god. Oh, this is awful. This is terrifying, chat. I can't tell you how bad this makes me feel. I need to increase the like lamp size. It's like bullet coffee. You know what I mean? It's like bullet coffee or something where you add butter to your coffee. It's the same thing. But you add soy sauce for the extra kick of flavor. Your table will smell good forever if you spill the sauce. You're right. Wait, you're right. The soy sauce would make it smell good. You can't say okay? Some of you eat flavorless beans. And also, like, flavorless, I don't know, like, ground beef. I remember that croissant that you posted, chat, okay? It's not... I know the smell. It's my father's shit. Calcified over centuries. He took a shit right here in this cave, and it's hardened into a rock. Oh, how I've missed you, father. Oh, shit. Uh-oh, we're gonna die. I think that's a bad sign. Canada food. Forbidden croissant. You don't know what you're talking about. You wonder what's my daily sodium intake. Chat, salt isn't bad for you. You know, it's a lie to say that salt is like bad for you, okay? Salt is good for you in moderation. And a drop of soy sauce doesn't mean you have too much salt.
Now
It's literally just salt. What's the tricky part, Dad?
Hold both triggers to exhale and grip the floor to pull yourself into the tunnel.
Oh my god.
Crawl quickly, or your chest will expand and you'll get stuck.
Do I have to do this? This seems terrifying. Press and hold both triggers to squeeze through. Okay, so don't get a hold the breath. Croissant. He found the coprolite. Is that what they're called? Oh, because it's like coprophagy is like a coprophile or somebody who like in the joints eating shit. Squeeze. I'm squeezing. Okay, this is hard. The controls are very confusing. It's a little complicated because to do it, you have to like hold the trigger, but you can't have your hands on the thing. I see now why your index finger can't be closed. It has to always be off because of how this game works. Okay, chat, here we go. Ready? We're gonna go inside, okay? Oh god, this is terrifying. And you know what's crazy? Some people do this for fun. Some people go into these caves for fun, and they do this because they want to. Like, imagine you being inside of a cave and you seeing this hole and you saying, I want to be here. Look at this. I can't even see through. And yet, my father wants me to. And this is the weird part too, is that my father in the cassette has timed it perfectly with my climbing speed. And
remember to keep both triggers pressed to the end of the narrowing.
Like, my father knew that I was going to die. And that way that's why he pre-recorded my death message, because he knew that I was going to die there. Like doctors? Wait, like what? Wait, doctors for what? Sorry. What was the doctor's line? Fuck, I keep letting go. Okay, this control system is very difficult. It's a good control system, but you have to get used to it. But this is a very good game. Like, you actually feel like you're inside of a terrifying claustrophobic cave. Okay, ready? I'm gonna hold my breath in real life, okay? I wouldn't be able to do that. I would die right there. I would die right there. I would die right there. That's where you would find my body, similar to the Nutty Putty Cave basin. Your belly could never. You're right. Your belly could never. Nothing, Feek. Nothing.
Your breath is key to getting through safely.
You know,
Whether you're underground or in a family meeting, for example.
okay, maybe my father left because he's a negligent father. I'm starting to get the idea of what the story is. I think the story is that my father couldn't handle being a father, so he left the family out of fear of having to be a father. But the thing is, right? He went cave diving instead, which is the exact same thing. It's like fathers will do anything except go to therapy. You know what I mean? Like, why not just go through therapy? It's the same thing, but easier and cheaper. Okay, that's crazy. You have to go all the way inside there? That's hard. Okay, wait, let me just think about this. I think you know what to do. We just have to get really close. Hold my breath in real life. Hold my breath in real life. Hold my breath in real life. Hold my breath in real life to immerse myself into the game. I can't do it. I can't do it. That was hard. And people do this for fun in real life. Like people actually go cave diving. This is how our parents went to school. You think there might be an Alaskan bola worm who made this game? This is, back in my day, son.
If you wanted to kill me, you could just leave us with no money. As you did, Dad. No need to drag me down through all this mud.
Whoever the voice actor is, and I don't know if but the voice actor sounds incredibly unbothered. Like the voice actor sounds like they don't care about what's, not that they don't care, but the voice actor sounds like the directions that they were given weren't clear enough. Because with that line, I would have expected more weight to what they were saying. But the way that they sounded was just like almost nonchalant. It felt like a parody reading of a script, which isn't their fault. I think it's more so the direction was just weak. But also, if you think about it, right? Theoretically, our parents probably did go to school like this. There was a period of time where people in my country lived in tunnels for various reasons, bombs and all that stuff. And the catacombs of France. Theoretically, if you lived in the catacombs, right? Theoretically, you had to go to school by climbing through caves like this. Oh god, this is going to be very difficult. There's a desk in front of me. I should move back a bit. So theoretically, there is a percentage of the world that did go to school like this.
Is your biggest asset while caving.
Actually, the biggest asset while caving is an oxygen tank.
Well, there's always a hammer.
What?
I left one in the chamber up ahead.
A hammer?
Go and get it.
What did my father leave a hammer? Am I descended from mole people? No, but the Vietnam War, caused bombs to, drop on people, and we had to hide underground, otherwise Agent Orange would kill us. Now, how do you feel? Do you feel good about the jokes that you've been making, chat, huh? Huh? Do you feel good about all your Asian jokes that you've been making without understanding history, huh? I'm shaming you. That wasn't on your country this time, okay? It wasn't your fault.
Take it out and put it back.
What?
Go ahead and use it to clear those stalagmites.
What's the hammer gonna control? We're practically there. Son, I left you everything. Son, I left you everything. A hammer, a couple of nails. Oh, this is a good mechanic. This feels really good. my god, it's freaking out. Okay, there's parts of this game that still feel very experimental. Sit on it. I'm trying to. I don't know what's going on here. I think the problem, maybe the control. That's good. Pick it up. Hold it. It disappeared. Wait, this is an amazing mechanic. Wait, this is so good. This is the best mechanic that I've seen in any game so far in the VR. It's a very accurate hammer. It feels nice. Me when someone says beat your meat but doesn't explain what it means. Hello, it's you again. Hello, how are you? How am I doing today? Good. Very good. Very, very good. This is the best mechanic I've ever seen. There's actually no better thing. There's no better mechanic for like a tool that I've seen in any other VR game. It's very, very good. But yeah, so theoretically, there is a period of time when people did have to live in caves and had to go to school through caves. It's a bit like the Sarajevo sniper alley. So you're not wrong. Like theoretically, this could be someone's grandparent saying, "Yeah, back in my day, I used to go to school by going inside of a cave." I can't stand. Well, yeah, obviously, but I'm trying to get lower. Maybe climbers do have a short advantage. You know what I mean? Like tall people play basketball, short people go cave diving, and one results in way more deaths than the other, right? Let's go over here. Hold the button. We're gonna climb through. Okay, it's not working. I don't know why. Push through. It's fascinating that my in-game father left me with so many tools. Like, it's strange to me that they left me things like a hammer and stuff, and they knew that I would be climbing through here. And I didn't expect this level of progression. First step?
I'm actually kind of proud of you, son.
Thanks.
To get out, just grab the rope and confirm finishing the step. Step 2 is not far from
The waters! I've got to drink the waters! Yeah, this is cool. I like the idea of a story game that sort of goes through someone's journey with cave diving. Because, you know, like many other such sports, I think of these sports as being much more meditative and philosophical than they are actually physical. Like in the sense of like, not to say that this is not a physical thing to do, but in the sense of like when you think of the reasons why someone cave dives, I think to myself, they're doing it because they need to think about something. Whether that's parenthood or some of the things, like maybe they just don't want to be a parent, so they do this, but this is a great concept for a climbing game. It's a great, concept for a game in general. Caving is an interesting sport because the spaces that you see, it's very alien and foreign despite being a part of our world. Do you know what I mean? The mechanics make a lot of sense too for when you're playing this game because climbing and using your arms feels like the thing that you mostly do within caving. Because if you can get your top half, you should be able to get your bottom half as long as your ass isn't dummy thick. Then on top of that, yeah, there's a very interesting storyline where somebody's trying to reconnect with their father and trying to figure out what's going on with their father, who didn't leave them with any money. Which, by the way, the father is voiced very, very well, but the son doesn't give a shit. So we'll see how it goes. It's sports. Well, I think it's fair to call it a sport. I think it's because what is a sport except for the fact that like some sports are more famous than not, right? Like I've had this discussion before where it's like, you know, in the same way that one could dismiss this as a sport, one could dismiss badminton as a sport. You know what I mean? Because it's not the same as tennis, right? It's like saying like, oh, like XYZ isn't a sport because it lacks something some of the sport has. But the core of a sport that's there is the fact that you can do something in a competitive sense, which is usually something in the sense of like the speed of which you go through things, or even just like how well you do it, or even just like in general the way that you can challenge yourself with it, and that there's a community of people who are willing to do that with each other, right? So I think of even the idea of speedrunning, you would, or even like esports, you wouldn't really call it sports if it's by that same metric, right? So wait, this is competitive. So cave diving can actually be pretty competitive, where they actually try to do things based on timing, based on routing. It can be exploratory in the casual sense, but I've seen like, you know, competitive, or like the very hardcore cave divers, they'll do things like, it took me XYZ hours to get through this cave, and I went through this route instead. It's way faster. Like there's like multiple aspects to it, and so it's like, I think it's important to remember that like when we dismiss something outright and to ignore sort of like all the complexities of it, it's sort of to say that we're being ignorant of that and not really that, you know, we're making an interesting point too. Because it's like, it could be an interesting point to say that how can this be competitive because it's just X, Y, Z, and then you discuss the philosophy of what is sports. But to say that something isn't a sport because of ignorance, I feel like it's just sort of like, what's the point? Grab the rope and I can leave. Sport 100%. No collectibles. I don't even know what a collectible is. But that's not to say that this isn't a casual experience either. What in Nika Cave, son? Okay, the loading screen tips go by too quickly. Maybe have like a confirmation. But like, it's important to remember that, like, you know, the top end of what we do will usually never be exposed to it, but if it exists, then sort of like it is what it is, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Hard to explain my like point, but basically, yeah, it's there's a lot to it. You see, didn't know they are competing in this horror. Yeah, exactly. Like, I wouldn't expect it either, because you would think that like people wouldn't want to do that, right? But like, you know, it's I've noticed that there's a huge passion for this in the sense of like, you know, they really enjoy the feeling of actually going through these spaces, and they really enjoy the feeling of like trying to figure things out in terms of the routing, trying to make it faster, trying to make it more optimized. I mean, it feels like a lot of the whole point of it is to find those spaces, to figure out where to go and explore where it's going, and to see if there's a better way through. Because you know, it's interesting to think about it like this, right? If caving was purely for exploration, people wouldn't do the same routes that somebody else has. Like, once it's on Google Maps, let's say, people wouldn't bother going to it again. So why do people go to it again? It's because they're competing with themselves. And that, I think, is enough to sort of categorize it as a sport. As long as there's some sort of competition to it, you know, even on the most basic level of yourself, I think that's good.
Huh. And I'm kind of wondering what on earth I was even thinking getting myself here. Luckily, the second cave was just a few hundred meters away.
Oh yeah, that's true. My father did say that he's kind of proud, but not fully proud, which is a weird thing to say to your child who's sacrificing their life to climb. Okay, son. Okay, there's only one way to go. But now, actually, this is interesting. Now there's false pathways. So now we can actually see false pathways left and right that you can't see unless your light is like at a certain depth. Okay, but let's go to the narrow. Yeah, cave diving is a fascinating sport. I've been reading into it more and learning more about it over time. Just because, like, I like to live my life having knowledge of things. I know that sounds conceited, but like, it's important to say that, you know, because I think in many ways a lot of people go for the snap judgments instead of the informed way. And I've been changing my mindset about a lot of things, where I don't go for the quick snap judgment of this is that. Now I go for the more well-informed, like, oh, that's interesting, I wonder how this works type of deal. Because I find that curiosity to be so much more interesting in the long term than to be all like, oh, it's like this? There's no way. It's like, yeah, but like, you know, it's fun. Like, it's fun to learn about this stuff. And this as a sport is fascinating because, again, when I saw that video of that father-son duo who both climbed into a cave, and his father was just pushing him to go in deeper, despite the fact that there were spiders on his face, and despite the fact that he was getting stuck there. Like, in what?
Marking your way could save you from getting lost in the vast web of tunnels.
I am about to get lost.
If you don't like what you draw, just erase it with your hand. When you're ready, proceed further.
Okay, Dad, I'm trying to go. I'm noticing an issue with the controls, though. There's definitely something weird with the controls. The way that you grip, it's like too sticky. And I don't know if it's my controllers or something, but like, I hold on to the rock for too long. It's almost like not as responsive as I would hope. That's the only thing that I feel like is a problem with this game, where press trigger to use. Oh. Wait. That's a really good drawing mechanic. How come the trigger for this thing is so much better? But the trigger for climbing feels very, very floaty almost. Like, it's like you can't let go of the hand as much as you would like to. It could be a controller thing, but it feels like, see this? This is when it considers to be grabbed. And my hand isn't even closed on the controller. This is when it's closed on the controller. I feel like for a climbing game, it has to be somewhere like this, but not like this. It's too sensitive. Is there a way to change that, actually? Is there a way to change that? Oh god, I keep going up and down. You guess you're right now that you kind of think about it. It's kind of like climbing. Exactly. It's kind of like climbing. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, it basically is climbing. Like, cave diving is just climbing in reverse. Because it's like, the idea of like trying to find spaces where you have to hold, and then trying to think of how you maneuver through it, right? It has a lot of the same qualities as most sports. Because like, when you think about, when you're playing a sport live, like you're playing soccer, right? As I climb through this. When you're playing soccer and you're trying to think about how you get the ball past the defenders into the net, a lot of it is the same thing. Where you're looking at the route that you go, you're looking at the techniques that you have at your disposal, you're looking at how you can move through the space and what you can do to give yourself the advantage. But you're doing that in real time, in the same way that you're doing it with like cave diving, in the same way that you're doing it with like rock climbing. You like, once I realized that, that's when the sport opened up to me, and like that's when the idea of sports in general opened up to me, right? Because I had the same thought of like, you know, how can something like even say chess be such a sport, even though it's just a game? And really, how can esports be a sport if it's just a game? But it has the same fundamentals. We just sort of see it in a different form, but the truth is, it's all really much the same. This is shit for people with damaged parts of brain responsible for fear. True. When they feel no fear. There's a mod for Peak that makes you go the other way around. Wait, really? Wait, that sounds sick. So you go to the beach. I went backwards. I went backwards. Are you kidding me? Okay, I went backwards. I see now why my father said you might want to write onto the cave. That explains why the climb was so hard. Like, I was like, why is it so hard to get in that side of her? But yeah, just thinking about sports in that way really opened up sports to me. Because as somebody who has played a lot of sports, like, once I learned that, that's when I realized that there's a lot of overlap with what we consider to be sports. And it's funny because there's actually a lot of esports players who started out in normal sports and then they started playing esports, and they have no problem transitioning over to esports. And yet the fans, the people who hate esports, don't see it the same way. And I think it's because a lot of people don't have that understanding of what it is, right? I think a lot of people sort of like go for the snap reaction instead of trying to think about, okay, what is a sport and why is this a sport? Why do people consider it to be a sport? And why does it even appeal to people who used to play sports? Like, it's a small number of people who used to play sports who are also into, you know, esports, but still, it's more than zero. And I think if it didn't have merit, it would be zero. Well, no, it wouldn't be zero just by the nature of, like, you know, games are fun, right? But for somebody who would want to see it as a sport, I mean, I feel like it would be close to zero, but like definitely not to the same degree. Like you wouldn't see any sport players turned into esport players, right? If that makes sense. Sorry, I'm so gassy. Popcorn time. Anyways, Noggy, how do you feel about being cancelled too? I will say, your jokes are uncomfortable to deal with. You're only lucky that I'm used to it. But it's sort of one of those things where it's like, just because I'm used to it doesn't mean that I particularly enjoy the jokes, because they're very sort of like, they're very weak. They're very weak jokes, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I don't know how to say this nicely, but like, I'd prefer a different type of comedy where even if it's bad, at least I could like enjoy reading it, versus like if it's bad and then it's just like, you know what it is? My idea of a good joke is that even if it bombs, it's still enjoyable to some degree. Whereas like if it bombs and it just makes you feel uncomfortable, I don't know if it's worth it. You remember that next time that I talk about British food. You know what's interesting? I don't talk about it until you talk about it. I want you to think about this. I never talk about British food poorly until somebody else does, and it's almost always going to be someone in the chat who's British. I actually have a lot of good things to say about British food, because British cuisine goes beyond the basics of like, even beans on toast actually tastes good, especially if you get the tomato beans, right? And I'm not really a big fan of beans, even though I know about the value of the beans. What is that emote? Farts. What is that emote? Why does it look like that? Why am I breaking the rock? Wait, you're right. Isn't it the whole point of cave diving to like leave it as you are? And also, like, if you break the rock, doesn't Doesn't make it worse. But yeah, if you know me, I never throw the first stone. I usually just say nothing, and I usually say like, "Oh, it's actually good," because I actually do like it.
You all dirty, you know. See your gloves.
Yeah, same with
You
gloves.
have to keep them pristine, not to get slippery.
Oh.
Use your cleaning tool to scrub the dirt off them.
How to use the cleaning tool, Father? Press A on the left control. Clean the gloves. Oh, that's sick. Oh, that's cool. I would not have expected this as a mechanic, and I didn't know that you had to do that actually. Because the cave diving duel that I see with like the son and the father, they go without gloves. They just do it raw. Like they go full on cave diving raw. How do I clean this hand? Oh, you have to. Okay, so you have to reveal it and then show it. And as you can see, I'm right-handed because my left hand motion was worse. Yes, yes. You clean the back. Do you think they sell? Do you think there's like a specialty sports store for things like climbing gear, for cave diving gear, in the same way that like there's a specialty store for climbing gear? Do you think Red Bull sponsors climbers? I wonder if they do. Grab the. It's a piton. Grab the piton. There is some guy that climbs on unusual things without safety or with a minimum one. They did some science shit on him, and he was desensitized for feeling fear. Yeah, like there's. I've heard of that too. Like I've heard that a lot of people who like do these extreme sort of high danger sports, they don't feel the same way that like other people do in terms of the fear factor. Which makes sense. I mean, because like I feel like you can't feel the same way because it's like terrifying to that degree, right? So it's like very. You have to be a certain type of person who is willing to sort of take that risk in your life to be able to do something like this. I've heard actually that same mechanism by which they don't feel fear actually also corresponds to the risk that they take within life. So I read a study where it's like people at the higher end of say the executive ladder at businesses, they tend to lack this like, or they tend to have a much higher risk tolerance, and they tend to have this like innate feeling of like wanting to take more risks within life, which is interesting. That can lead to some level of success. Cave divers are us. Like Toys R Us. You know, I thought Toys R Us was like gone, but there's apparently like a real Toys R Us. Okay, it's kind of rotating here. It's kind of okay. This is interesting. This is an interesting mechanic. If you hold with one, your hand gets tired, and some of them even rotate. That's cool. This game, okay, these I see why the rocks are here. I actually did see a Caves R Us once. Sorry, a Toys R Us, not a Caves R Us. And I was like, wow, it's still alive. Sad that they all mostly died, but you know, somehow there's still some stragglers, and I wonder if it's like a franchise model where it's like one person gets to open their own Toys R Us. It's still a little sticky on the hands. Press grip. I now have a what?
Ready for the climb?
Sure.
Take out a piton and drive it firmly into the wall. Grab it and pull yourself.
Okay.
And repeat.
Press B on either controller to get a climbing piton. So I now need to drive it. Okay, do not punch the monitor. Oh, that's sick. Grab the piton. Repeat to build your way up. Okay, chat. This is an amazing game. Wow. This game is really good. I didn't expect it to be this good, but this is a really good climbing game. It's almost like the climbing VR experience that you would kind of want. Like, it feels a lot like Peaks of Yore in a way, or White Knuckle. This game feels like White Knuckle, but in VR. It doesn't have the same pace, obviously, and it doesn't have the same physics tricks, but specifically the way that you look at the environment and you look at your tools and you say, how am I going to get through this? It has that same feeling of like, figure out the route. It feels almost like a challenge speedrunning game. Though again, the controller is way too sticky. You have to let go so hard.
Now,
Father, I'm stuck. It's just way too sticky on the hands, and I don't know why. It's like the controls are very finicky. Like, look, I'm trying to let go of my left hand, but it won't let me let to go. Doesn't make any sense. Like, look, let go. It's just weird. You have to like shake your hand after. It's like it's too sticky almost. You have to shake your hand after to let go of the thing so you can actually like move around, which doesn't really make sense. But other than that, this is a really good premier climbing experience. You can tell that they put a lot of thought into sort of how the climbing experience should feel like. And honestly, even with my fear of claustrophobia, this game does a great job of like easing you into it that you don't feel very afraid. I think it's actually an interesting start to a VR experience. And I think it's a better... This actually feels like the premier first VR game that I think people should try. Because I think, you know, shooting experiences, while they're fun, don't have the same tactility as this. There's just a little bit of weirdness with the controls, but if they fix that, I could see this being a great intro into what a VR experience is like. Because again, climbing and crawling through spaces is a very, very well-known feeling. It's honestly a very strange game in that you have to go through the space that feels alien, despite probably being like a real cave in real life, because these are based off of, at least it seems like from the trivia, real caves. And aside from the control issues, it's an interesting experience because you're doing it to the backdrop of a story of somebody trying to connect with their father, right? And honestly, with what seems like, you know, the quality of it, they really did the best with what they had.
Your headlamp has infrared mode, which
What?
highlights some objects but drains the battery faster.
Okay, well, why do I want
Track battery
infrared?
life on your watch.
My watch?
Reach over your head, turn on infrared, and look for highlighted objects.
Okay, how do I do this? Reach overhead. Oh. Find and pick up the collectible. You mean this thing? Oh my god, Chad! It's a spider! It's a spider! It's a spider. Can I kill it? It's a spider. It's a spider. It's a spider. The lights are really bright. Wait. It's a spider. Do you see a spider? It's a spider. This is sick. That's a Spider-Man that's a spider that bit Spider-Man. It's impossible to kill. Beat on, my beloved, stay sticky. There's some similar mechanics used, and it's about climbing. But it looks like a high-level experience is a different beast than the White Knuckle. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, that's the point that I was trying to, like, make, where it's like, it has a lot of the same core, but definitely the high level of White Knuckle feels like you're optimizing your understanding of the physics and the items that you have, and also it's much more freeform compared to the linear structure of this. But this has a lot of the same core ideas of like find your way through, figure out where you're going, figure out how you're gonna make it through this space. And spiders, here's spiders. Is this the collectible? Infrared on. Spider spotted. Oh my god, there's so many spiders. There's so many spiders! Look, there's 3 of them! Sorry, I just love Blade & Sorcery. You want to play Blade & Sorcery now. That game is fun. I actually think that game is a masterful game. Though, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like Blade & Sorcery, while it's fun to, like, stab people, I think the one thing about stabbing people is that at some point... You want me to collect three of them? Wow. The thing about, I guess, like Blade & Sorcery is that even though it's fun to stab people, on some level, it's just stabbing people. Not to say that that's bad, but I feel like there's more fun that can be had by immersing yourself in even more of an experience. Like, it's like... Because you can stab people in desktop, and it's sort of like, okay, you stab people in the game, but the thing about Blade & Sorcery that I feel like is a bad number one into the game is that it doesn't work with the physics of the world. Because it can't, right? Like... Because VR has the one fundamental problem with the physics of the world is like different. Wait, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this with the spider. Come here. So because VR has a problem where you can't feel the physics, don't get close to my finger. Don't do it. Don't get close to my finger. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it, you. Stop it. Stay away from me. Stop it. Because you can't feel the physics of the world, stabbing someone is unsatisfying. And oh, shit! I can move him. Get out of here. Move. Oh, he actually reacts to me moving him. Wait, that's sick. Get out of here. Move it. Get out of here. Leave. Get out of here. Stop it. Wait, that's sick. I actually moved the spider. Wait, come back. Come back. Wait. No, come back. Wait, come back, please. Come back, please. I'm sorry for hurting you. Sorry. And Blade and Sorcery deals with that problem very well by having the entire system basically be a simulated physics where you have to swing very slowly and you focus on the motion, which is fine. But because of that disconnect, I think it's much more apparent than something like this, where this one doesn't feel like it has a disconnect. Like, this one is a very solid VR experience where there's not really much of a disconnect between what I'm doing and what the game is asking me to do. Like, me climbing through this space is actually me climbing through this space and using my hands and thinking and looking around to find where I'm going and stuff, right? This is very different from Blade and Sorcery, where, not to say that it's a bad game, but I definitely, when we played, and I played fist only by going unarmed to punch people, I definitely felt like I couldn't really play the game well because it was working on an entirely different model, right? So it's like, even though I love that game, I do think it's very important to look at that game as a whatchamacallit, it's a for fun experience, but not necessarily the best VR experience. That particular smartwatch. Do you know if there's some progress with affordable movement tech for VR? I've heard no. I've also seen some of the things, and apparently that stuff has now been slowly going away because the market's too small. So like, it feels like the technology is frozen until there's more effort being made to like work with it. Sorry, you see me looking up because that's the only way I can reach out. Leave the spider alone. He's a mortal free snack. That's some animal cruelty and I'm losing to him. You can't stop me. You're really like the Avatar mod that lets you do certain actions to bend elements. It's very fun. That seems interesting to me. I've always thought that like the VR fighting space, the game fighting space has to be along that line. Like, you know how like it's exactly that, where it's like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and there is like a VR game that's exactly like that. Also, this chat thing doesn't work anymore, so I don't know why, but yeah, like Avatar: The Last Airbender is to me a fascinating. Oh, you know what I should do? Wait, I have an idea. Just give me a second. Like, Avatar: The Last Airbender to me is a fascinating experience of like, I kind of wish that as a game was like a premier VR game, because it really does work, and it really does feel interesting as a VR game because of how you like it's about the motion, right? It's about the motion of your movement. It's about the way that your character sort of like flows around and like makes these motions, and then it's the way that it's like metaphysical and not really a physical effort. Whereas like, again, like a real martial art game, whether it's martial arts with swords or with like arm movements or like with your fists, I think it fails because it's too predicated on the feeling of physicality. Because fighting is fun if you can feel the way that your body moves and you can feel like your punches have weight behind them. But it fails when you don't. And so really something like a wuxia style game, or even like a martial arts sort of like power themed game, like a superpower game similar to the Avatar games, is a much better fit, I think, than any other type of game. Sorry, you can't see anything yet. I'm still trying to fix this thing to make it work. I need to now add this as a window. There we go. Okay, now I need to resize this. It's way too huge. Float in the world. Float in the world. Move it around. Okay, this window is huge. It's as if I'm literally here. Is there no way to resize this? Like, is there actually no way to resize this thing? Can I say something about Steam VR? Actually, it's been kind of interesting, but Avatar is the curse of never having a good game. So true. Yeah, I've noticed that too from the game, where it's like they never seem to be able to make something good with it, even though I feel like it should be like a sleeper hit, or it should be like a massive hit in general. Like, it should be easy for them to make a solid game. Can I say something about Steam VR? I don't know why, but I've been having this problem with Steam VR where everything seems a little bit broken every single day. Do you see the chat? Hopefully you see the chat over there. Do I need to have it on the monitor? Maybe. Does it work? Do you see yourself? Do you see yourself? I can't see myself. I can't see if you see yourself because of the way that I have it positioned. But I'll talk about the Avatar. I'll talk about the Avatar thing, and then I'll talk about the Steam VR thing. The thing about Avatar that sucks is that as an IP, it should be straightforward. You see, hi chat. It should be straightforward to turn it into like a game of any kind. Because the universe is well fleshed out. I think other games, like, you know, the Invincible fighting game, that game has a hard problem where it's a very character-driven story, right? Not to say that that's bad, but when I think of a character-driven story, I don't think this can be made into any type of game. Like, you can't really make that game into anything but a game about the one character. And the problem is that because these IPs are TV shows first, they already have a story. So you already have the characters living out their story. And so there's no real need for you to have it be its own game. Like, no one would really have fun replaying the story of the TV show that they watched, but like worse. You know what I mean? But Avatar is one of those IPs where it has a lot of the world built out for you, but for some reason, no one seems to be able to capitalize on that, and I don't know why. Chat, you were so hyped for VR Hellish Court. What is a VR Hellish Court? And it's just looking at the duels in VR. Oh, is that the Avatar game? That's like where you could actually do the moves almost, where it's like you have to do like the actual motions to do like rock bending and like stuff. It's like it has the exact same concept as like Avatar, but not the exact name because it's copyrighted, right? But yeah, that's the problem that I had with a lot of these like games. Like a lot of them seem to have very like weird systems that they try to like I don't know how to explain it, but basically it feels like none of them really understand what type of game that they should be making. A lot of them seem to be like, I don't know how to explain this. I think if a VR game is so hard to make, then I think the problem is that no one can really make a good VR game because it's difficult. How do I say this? It's difficult to make a good game when you're also making a VR game because it's very complicated as a task, right? So I think that's sort of the problem. So that's the way to the exit. I'll just keep it there. No, it's a historical fighting game. It's great physics-based and rooted in the real sword in the real sword fight. Okay, that's interesting. You wish it'll. Do you think it feels good in the sense of like the physics? Because if you've played Blade and Sorcery, right? How would you compare it to Blade and the Sorcery? I'll get to the Steam VR topic soon. Because I'm curious to see how it compares to that. Because again, like the physics feeling in that game was so weird in that. Like, it really didn't seem like it translated your force well. I mean, obviously, because it can't, right? Because you have no feedback. But even if you moved, like, it feels like there's, like, no relation to how quickly you swing your weapons inside of that game, Blade and Sorcery. So it's like, it didn't even matter if you had fancy moves. What mattered was that you were looking really... Which I guess is sort of the point of a fighting game, was that you, like, looked for certain openings. Anyways, the Steam VR thing. So, you know that desktop mouse bug that where if I go into desktop mode and I can't see my mouse, that's a Steam VR problem. It's been a bug in the beta branch and it was promoted to the full branch as like the main branch of the game. Okay, there's nothing here. I'm going to die now. This is my nutty putty cave. This is my nutty putty cave. This is the only water that I can drink for the next couple of years. I need to save it. I have to pee down there. I'm going to pee over there. I'm going to poop over there. I'm going to drink this water. I'm going to eat the spiders. But the Steam VR thing, like, it feels like it's been getting a lot more issues slowly over time. And it's sort of interesting to see the Steam VR space, because the Steam VR runtime itself is sort of interesting in that it has a runtime. I remember, I think, as far as I read the documentation, because I was actually seriously thinking about making, like, a real VR game. But it seems like it's not really set up well, where it's like one of the 3 standards that are out there, and it doesn't seem like there's like much backing behind it except for Valve. So not that it's not set up well, but it doesn't feel like it's getting the same amount of effort as like what's called OVR or like OpenXR. I forget which one it is now. As well as, I mean, obviously the Facebook one, but like that one's also like a bajillion dollars. But yeah, it's sort of fascinating to sort of see like how you know, at least this recent release has had a couple of weird issues. Like, I can't seem to use the menu laser on my right hand some most time. It chooses the wrong hand. You can't switch it between them. There's no desktop mouse. Performance has been the same though, which has been nice. So it's good there. But just in terms of like the usability of it, it's like definitely felt weird. It's not a VR game. Oh, there's some feature that the dev added, but it's underwhelming. Game as a whole is awesome. Oh, I see. So it's like just a random feature that they wanted to try out. That's why you said it's not like a real multiplayer, but they just decided to have it. I mean, to be fair, it's like, how do you have a sword fighting game without duels, right? It's like, I feel like that's like if I was a dev of a cool sword fighting game, I would want to do that too. Have you ever played Half Sword? Like, how would you compare it to Half Sword then, in terms of like the gameplay? Because Half Sword is probably the only one that I can think of that reminds me of something like that, where it's like you get to play around with the idea of swords of like a weapon fighting system, but it's definitely not. It doesn't. At least I can't tell if it's a realistic thing, but the way that I play it definitely isn't. So there are issues with the Unity physics and multiplayer because the engine is not deterministic. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, I guess that would be a problem because you're making a physics fighting game and you're using an engine that doesn't have any real deterministic physics unless you add your own layer, which would require you to actually rebuild everything basically. To be fair to the Unity people, deterministic physics is a hard problem. I've looked into it and I tried to implement my toy version of it once in my toy engine that I had like a couple years ago, and it was tough because it's very difficult to do anything because like a lot of it is like the math calculations, and you have to make sure that it always ends up with the same result across everything, especially across every single environment too, where the hardware might differ in terms of like the way that it calculates things, or even like the support for certain things too. So it's like I can see why it's complicated. Sorry, this game is like making me pass out, even though I'm not even climbing. But my arms moving is actually hard. It's different. Just check out some video. It's very unique. Is it like HEMA in terms of like what you mean by the sword fighting? Yeah, but I'll check out some videos of it because that sounds cool. Just please remind me of the name later. I don't know why I'm eating fossils. Where am I going? I'm lost. I need a support spider.
The battery died.
Oh no.
You know who's next.
Me. But I was exploring the cave. I just wanted to have a support spider. Oh, it is HEMA. Okay. Okay, you know what? Forget the spiders. I spent too long smashing the spider. I spent way too long. I didn't need to collect all the fossils.
I'm kinda proud.
Forget collecting fossils. We just climb. Sorry, Dad. I can't talk. I'm gonna drown.
More about your tools in this cave. Go past the narrowing for now.
This game's the story beats in this game are interesting too. I think it's sort of like the stereotypical idea of like, the father who only gives you lessons but never really love. There's a really great book by can't forget who. I can't remember who, but about the Japanese internment camps in America. Or no, in Canada. It's called Requiem by Frances Atani, I think. And she wrote a really amazing book about it because it really captured this feeling of like what it's like to live with somebody who's like traditionally more about the lessons than they are about the love, right? It's sort of like the old school parenting style of like, I'm here to parent you, but like not really help you. Kind of proud, yeah, exactly.
Just erase it with your hand.
So this game sort of having that mechanic, that as a story beat is fascinating because that character archetype is a real character archetype where they're more focused on like, teaching you about things without actually like taking care of you.
Mud will get you all dirty, See your gloves.
So do see my gloves.
Keep them pristine, not to get slippery. Use your cleaning tool to scrub the dirt off them.
But I like the story beat a lot. It's an interesting character development tool that I think is cool because you get to see not only the character that you are and the reasons that they are the way that they are, but also you get to sort of see their journey in like dealing with this problem and sort of that like growth of that relationship, but also the growth of even the character themselves being able to probably in a way move past it at some point. And again, I feel like it fits the meditative nature of like cave diving, because really, I don't know how to say this nicely, but I feel like people who dive in the caves, there's something wrong with them. Not to say that they're bad people, but it definitely feels like there's something wrong with them when they're going cave diving. Instead of whatever it is that they could have been doing, it feels like an escape from the world in some way. Same with rock. I mean, same with anything really, but like this one feels like a real escape. I'm out. Give me that.
Ready for the climb?
I am.
Take
I
the
am,
baton
Father, but I
and
know
drive
what to
it
do.
firmly
Is it here?
to the wall.
I sure hope it's
Grab
here.
it and pull yourself, then repeat.
I sure hope it's here. It is. Okay, just hold my hands. There we go. Cover my hands. I sure hope it's here. I don't know where it is, but I wasn't really looking. Oh man, this would be a really... If they could somehow make it even more gamified, not to say that it has to be, but I could see this being a good hit as long as they somehow make people realize that it's not just a cave diving exploration game. Like on the surface, it really does seem like a cave diving exploration game, but really,
Now, go
it's
to the
more of a
next
competitive game in terms of like the way that you have to like go through things. Like even the story mode, the time it gives you, it's not really much, and having to look around and like figure out the other routes, it's very good. Trying to survive here. Trying to figure out why my hand keeps getting stuck on the left side. I think it's because of the camera. Maybe. Oh shit, sorry. I keep hitting my other microphone as well. The only problem, and this game is very... It's interesting that this game has the same VR problem of most VR games, where you need a lot of space. Not to say that it doesn't make sense, but that's the one thing that I will say holds back VR, is just the amount of space that you need. And there's no way to work around it. But it is painful to have to deal with it. Okay, we got the cave yet? Teaching is part of taking care of... Teaching is part of taking care of, and in this specific situation, he teaches you this dangerous thing where you, his child, can die. Outside of the caves, their relationship may be really different. That is true. Outside of the cave, as far as we can tell, the story is that he left us he left us with no money, and he wanted us to like die.
You can track battery life on your watch.
And teaching is a part of taking care of somebody, but specifically the archetype that I'm talking about is somebody who like only cares about one specific avenue. It's like, in my mind, it's just as bad. Sorry, it's just as bad as somebody who only loves someone but doesn't teach them. You know what I mean? It's sort of like that double whammy of like, you can't just have one angle at all times. I think as a parent, you have to be ready and willing to be everything all at once, because you have to be. You have to love and take care of your child. You must also teach them things. You can't be always, coddling them, but you also can't always just be one thing, because there's like, they have to be a well-rounded person. Do not play with the spider. Don't play with the spider. Alright, we're done it, Jake. So he threw me in the middle of the lake and you swim or you die? Yeah, I mean, that's basically what this game is, yeah. Though the story is interesting in that our character went into the cave, found a tape from his father, and then was like, hey, I'm gonna go find my father. So at least that angle feels a bit weird, where it's like, we're the ones who stumbled onto our father in the first place, and not really the fact that he like threw us in. It's more that for some reason we went cave diving just as our father did, and we happened to find a tape of his, and then now he's guiding us from beyond the grave. It's a very interesting story angle to go with. It's one of the more interesting ones that I've seen. You missed that part. Fair, that was the first like 2. It was the first like 2 2 minutes. Yeah. So, and it's really glossed over too. Like even now, they don't really talk about that anymore. Like it's like you get hints of the son having a bad relationship with his father, but for the most part, it doesn't really pop up very much during your gameplay. Because during your gameplay, it sounds like your father's there talking to you, but it's actually just his like tape. It's very kind of confusing in that way. Oh. Whew, I'm sweating. Geoffrey Berger was the first cave ever explored beyond 3,200 feet. Oh. A popular spot for cave diving, famous for... Okay, also, I don't know why the head motion works like this, but you go the opposite way of where you want the menu to go. It's counterintuitive until you know about it, then it's intuitive, but until then it's counterintuitive. Oh, Redreach, sorry. Sometimes dubbed as Romantic Cave due to its reddish-colored walls. This twisted climb is the perfect place for a first date underground. Oh, what? There's a horror mode? It seems like a story about a rite of passage trial to be an adult, or in this case, full-fledged
Next spot was a
Cave
bit of
diver.
a drive. No mud this time, supposedly.
No mud this
Will I finally
time.
find out what's going on here?
Is this an AI voice? I really can't tell. No mud this time, supposedly. Hi, my name is Chills, and this is the top 10 funkiest caves to climb into. I don't think it's really like a rite of passage.
We've got a bit of a climb ahead.
I guess like from the
I can
father's perspective,
try to
it is.
explain a few things. Your mom.
I'm sorry. Why did he say it like that? Your mom.
One spot.
Your mom.
It's cool vibe, and she said yes.
Your mom. Like, I think from the perspective of the father, that's what he's doing. But from the perspective of the son, it's like, Dad, where are you? Why did you leave the family? Like, that to me is like the son's perspective. Though I did like that your mom line. That was good. And this is an interesting cave. Now the mechanics of the game are getting even more interesting. I've got to explain a couple things. Your mom. That's it. Your mom. It's just the bits of the voice acting that seem to throw it off just a little bit, and something about the stickiness of the controls. Like see this? Okay, look. I'm gonna touch the wall. I'm gonna release my hand. You see how my hand is still stuck to it? Even if you release your hand, it doesn't remove it from the wall until you move it a little bit. Oh, that's my watch. We have 13 minutes. Was my character conceived in this case? That's what it sounds like now. Yeah, now that I know that like he's talking about my mom, and my mom was a cave diver. That's what it seems like. If they could just fix these two things, like that loop around the cave to look behind you to like put the piton there. That's good.
You came along and
oh, I came along.
Moving. I was rarely home. Constantly on cave research trips from the Institute.
Constantly.
And really wore us down.
Uh-oh.
May wanted stability.
But my mom's name was May.
A guy with a harmless Sunday hobby.
Who wouldn't die.
For me, it wasn't just a hobby.
This was his life. That's a good story. Wait, that's interesting. It's very similar in scope to that book Requiem by Francis Attani. I don't really know how to explain it, but if you ever get the chance to read that book, I know the Goodreads rating for it seems bad, but Goodreads is full of people who have way too many expectations. That book has a very similar vibe to this, where it's about the understanding of a person, of a group of people going through a very traumatic event. It's fascinating. But I think we were conceived inside the chat. There! Right there! Do you see it? Do you see it? Look, 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 look! That's where my father nutted. Some of it sprayed and made that mark on the wall. This is where I was conceived. Right there! Look! Look! It's even in the shape of a sperm. What? Uh-oh. It's even in the shape of a sperm. Wait, why am I diving? He left you inside the caves and ran away, or you left and then I went to the caves. So it seems like our character went to the caves. It seems like our character went into a random cave, found a tape. It's very it starts out contrived like most of these stories, where our character entered a cave, found a tape that was left by his father, and is inside the cave listening to his father talk about the time that he nutted inside of your mom inside of a cave. It's getting very, God, these sticky controls are so annoying. Jesus Christ, they have to fix this. That's the only thing that they have to fix. No sticky hands, please, I'm begging you. It's such a piss off. You have to, like, swing your hand to, like, free it. You have to swing your hand to free it, even though you let go of the thing. It's like it's delayed.
Caves, the less I missed loud, complicated life above ground.
Huh.
Here, all the noise is inside you, and your life depends
See,
on
it's like
whether
therapy.
You can handle it. The cave shows you who you really are.
And in my case...
After that, you might not get along with people on the surface.
And in my case, it showed me that I'm a bit of an asshole. That's why I left you and your mother alone. Sorry, I keep hitting my own head. You see, I realized after going into the cave that I didn't really love your mother. I just loved the fact that she had a convenient cave. That's right. Son, I'm an asshole. I look at people as tools, as spaces to explore. And once I explored the caverns of your mother's cave, there was nothing left to her for me. Son, I hate you and your mom. Anyways, I'll be going to get some milk. I won't be home anytime soon. I'll see you later. Explore your mother's cave for me. Will you?
That was always work.
Here we go.
Now I'm heading out with my friend Sam to
Who the fuck is Sam?
cave on the WCA list.
The hell's a WCA list? Oh shit, there's more.
Myself so you can follow and maybe understand me a bit better.
I like how the father character is like, maybe you could understand me better. Maybe it's not my fault as a father for being like kind of a weird person about, you know, people. Maybe it's your fault. Maybe it's the people around me's fault for not understanding me. I actually hate that. I hate the character, which means it's a good characterization. I feel like if you could hate a character within a story because of who they are, I think that's a great characterization. To show that this character is flawed in the sense of like, he's trying to explain away all of his things and just saying it's within his like nature and so he can't really help himself. Like, that's a very fascinating character flaw that I really enjoy within stories. Because it's so human. It's so human for people to make up excuses for who they are. And now I'm going into the meditative state. And now we're going to talk about family philosophy. I'm going to start crying. And I didn't know cave diving could do this for me. But now, this is the feeling of cave diving. You go cave diving to explore yourself because all you have inside the cave is you and the impending death that's going to follow you.
Before we took off, Sam and I started a little club. Your entry card is waiting for you on the rock in the next chamber. I'd be honored if you joined us.
What? I'd be honored if you joined us. By the way, son, in spite of me leaving you and your mother alone for years and years of my life, and leaving your mother to be a single mother and leaving her with no money because I decided not to pay child support, and that's why you're inside this cave, because you have nothing left. Actually, son, you seem to live inside these caves because you don't have enough money to buy a home. You and your mother probably died penniless. In spite of all of that, I wish for you to join my fun little hobby club where we climb inside caves. Wouldn't you want to climb with your old pal? With your old dad? This is... Okay, now it's getting harder. Looks like a Kojima baby trailer. POV, this is... Maybe that's it. You know, people say that when you're a baby, you actually do learn a lot, and that you can talk to the baby inside the stomach and, you know, you can say things to it. Maybe that's what cave diving is like for people. Like, maybe cave diving for people is just the act of, like, almost returning home. You know what I mean? Back to the womb. Again, this mechanic of your hands being sticky, if it wasn't as sticky, I could actually climb this wall. But the problem is that because your hands are sticky, look at how much time I waste trying to move my hands. Like, it's so annoying. This game has some bugs. I think in terms of bugs, that's the biggest one that has to be fixed, is the stickiness of your hands. It should not be so tight. If I let go of my fingers, it should just let go. It should just let me continue climbing as soon as I let go of the grip pad instead of holding on. Because look, I could make it if only I could let go of my hands. Oh, thank goodness. Like, it's so annoying. It's like look. Why is it so, like, late? It's so late at things. Is it because of my hands? Maybe I need to move back even further. Oh, it is. Okay, sorry, game developers, it's not you. It's the position of the camera. Wait, that's a weird issue. Wait, but that's a really weird issue. So, if it's out of the camera view, it doesn't know that I release my fingers. But visually, it shows me releasing my fingers. So if I'm close, even when I'm close, it shows me visually releasing my fingers, even out of camera view. Even though it's not in the camera view anymore, it knows that I release my hands. It just doesn't know the position. So when I let go of my hand out of camera view, it should let go of the rock, but it doesn't. That's weird. Son, I hope you'll join my club. I know you and I don't get along and...
Cave Crave, Jake. So, you gonna follow in your messed up old man's footsteps?
Please say no.
It's all up to you now.
Jake, please say no.
We finally agreed, Dad.
What?
I wasn't planning on it, honestly, but I might just check out one more cave on your route.
That's a fascinating story angle. I like that. I think very few games do a story like this very well, and this is actually a really good story, and they do it fairly well, even though the voice acting holds it back. They definitely, I unlocked all game modes, unlocked all story chapters. Yes, father, says the button. Very few games do that thing of like everyone is flawed and it's just about accepting someone's flaws. Even though I don't think that's necessarily healthy, it's an interesting way of taking it, because now it's like, oh, you know, our flawed father is like this, and we say, okay, well, at least we connect with something. If anything, it feels like the Jake character is doing it because they have nothing left, and because they have to do this, otherwise they wouldn't have anything at all. Like, they wouldn't be able to feel okay with their life knowing that their father isn't here, because, you know, they'd have to just accept the sad reality. It feels almost like an escape, like everything that this is, but yet at the same time, it's one of those complicated things where it's like, even if you know someone is a terrible person, it doesn't necessarily preclude the fact that they're your family. Like, it's sort of a weird spot to be in. It's actually why I think orphans have the best time in the world, because with the orphans, right, if you're an orphan, you don't have to care about who your family is, because you don't have any. And so you don't have any like preconceptions of family. You don't have the psyop that is like family is important. You know that family doesn't matter. It's a family that you make. You actually get to the end game sooner than other normal people. Switch controllers. Whispers. How many tubes lead to a human stomach? 2. And to the devil's stomach? Well, let me count. So that's the devil's gut. Chapter 5 is human radar. Also known as Green Hall, or Green Hell for some, is a living, seemingly endless maze, expanding simultaneously in multiple directions. Lucky orphans. Father is definitely a shaman figure, existing on the boundary of society. I would have said hermit, but yeah, I get what you mean. It's easy to try to be a part of the regular world, but fail. Those caves are his passion. Yes, we can bring Zizek now. What is a Zizek? With his happiness is a fleeting feeling and fails as a goal. But passion, burning passion, is something where you will sacrifice everything for it. Yes, exactly. Yeah. He's definitely going on this escape, and now the son has been psyoped into believing that that's a good thing. Or at least into believing that he's connecting with his father, but I don't even think that his father is really connecting with him on this level of like, now do you see the way that I'm going through something? It feels like the father is almost presenting a false truth to the son. And I think it's sort of fascinating in the way that, like, the recency bias can make the son go, well, you know what, this is kind of fun, Dad. Yeah, I'll hang out with you. It feels like a fantasy that the son is living, which is exactly what the father was doing, where it's like he's following his, like, passions. He wants to stick with this fantasy world where the real world doesn't cut it for him anymore. And much as the son does, they're actually both the same people. Let's just go straight to the mall. No, let's just do it in order. And this is coming soon. Upcoming features: multiplayer, new mechanics, haptic vest supports. Zizek is a quite famous philosopher. We'll check it out. His ideal date story is 10 out of 10. Yeah, I'll check it out.
The Gut. First on Dad's list and famous for its first chamber. Many people end their trip there, as the Gut is also known for eating tourists alive.
Eating tourists alive.
Yep, I'm sure about it.
Yep, I'm sure about it. I find philosophers to be a lot like vloggers.
Hi, Jake, it's Sam.
Hey, Sam.
The other half of Cave Crave team.
Oh, you're the
Dad
person.
got a little cold and I left him sleeping in a tent, so it's just us now. Let's get to the details in the first chamber.
You're the one who stole my father from me. I find philosophers to be a bit like YouTubers. Not to say that I don't think philosophy is not an important thing to learn. I myself took philosophy courses back in like forever ago. I actually took like an advanced university course, multiple of them, and we did like philosophy and stuff. But it's fascinating to sort of look at those opinions and then go like, it's worth listening to them. Because it's like, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to listen to every single vlogger online? I don't need someone to tell me that shitting, shitting where I sleep is like a bad thing, okay? I don't need someone to tell me that, like, happiness is a fleeting feeling. I don't need someone to tell me that I'm depressed. I can feel that. Philosophy is within all of us. Philosophy is within all of us.
Okay, here we
It's
are.
not just with... It's not just something that like one person
Literally
has.
use a
It's
job.
within all of us. What?
Just get to Whisperstone at the end of this cave and sign your name on it.
Oh, cool.
That way,
Okay.
the next person who gets there will definitely notice you among the other pros. I don't really think you need this. Someone out there believes you do. We can't let him down, huh?
Where the fuck is the hole? Where the fuck is the hole? Well, that's a hot take. They're not free of this family thing. They are shaped by the lack of this. Okay, you seem to have missed the point of the comedy, and now you're taking it too seriously. I implore you to understand that I know you may come here for real topics of discussion, but that's not why we're here. We're here to play a game about going inside of a cave, and we're making jokes about, you know, the fact that the father is like climbing through his mother's cave. You know what I mean? This is a very different space to be in. If philosopher tells you something like you are this, world is like this, in some absolutes, they are a hack. So true. That's why I don't listen to my doctor, because he says the same thing as like Aristotle's. And he's like, you're an addict. And that's how I know that he's a fraud. People who speak in absolutes tell me nothing. I'm not addicted. I can stop it. I can stop anytime. What does he know? What does he know? Okay, the controls are fucking up again. Okay, this is bad. Something about the controls, still very finicky. And I think it's... See, like, look at this. My hands are open. My hands are open. Oh my god, chat, it's the sweat. It's the sweat on my hands. Do I have to wear gloves to play VR? Is that like a thing that people have to do? I forgot, because it's capacitative, where it's like the saltiness of it. Time to go all in. Yeah, you only need the one that will tell you that pissing in the sink is the right thing. Okay, no, that's the one philosophy that I will say is wrong. That's the only fake philosopher. I'll take the guy in the barrel before I take the guy who tells you to piss in the sink. Okay, I'm sorry to say it, but like that's the only fake philosophy out there, is the sink pissers. The only true philosophy, son, is the one that doesn't involve sink pissing. So now I know it's not this game's fault, it's the fact that my hands are sweaty as fuck. And the controller, I'm surprised that the controller has such problems with salt, actually. You would think it wouldn't have that much problem, but it's very salty. It's very salt sensitive. This is a bad pathing for me, but it's okay. We'll just deal with it. Just deal with it. Just deal with it. God damn it. This is hard. This angle's hard. This angle's very, very hard. I think I maybe shouldn't have gone this way, but it's too late. I've done my pitons. Pitons. I'm gonna just stick with the pitons. Boom! I'm in. The hole is right there. I really feel like I'm inside the cave. Wait, just look over here. There we go. Okay, look over here. Center so the camera can see me. Wipe my hands. Wipe my hands. I'm gonna go. And remind me to clean my glove inside the game too. Because that may be contributing to some degree. But that one should only be slipperiness, so I'm not really sure if it affects the fact that your hands are hanging on. Sorry. This game is so hard to stream in VR because I'm hitting the mic constantly. I'm like making noises. Like it just feels wrong. Sorry. This is a very noisy game. No, wrong thing. Great. Sure thing. You tend to get hooked on those topics pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't mind if like people feel passionate about topics. I just need to remind people constantly that like this is a non-serious channel. My thoughts on people being orphans is very much the same thing, where it's like they're not really away from it, they're just defined by it, as you say. But I think it goes deeper than just saying like they're defined by it. I think it's almost, I mean, they are defined by it, where it's like it is a trauma that they have to deal with, whether or not they believe that to be true. Like, it's a very deep topic, but we're here to shitpost. And the shitpost is, orphans don't have to go through the same struggles that our character does, therefore they have the advantage in rock climbing. I bet you when an orphan goes rock climbing, they don't have to think about anything. Orphans don't have to go to the holiday party with the family where you don't even do anything, where you just eat and you sit around as everyone sings bad karaoke, okay? Orphans don't have to suffer. The orphans are lucky, chat. In this machine where we suffer things like karaoke, the orphans have it easy. Is there a space up there? Let me check. Maybe there's a space up there. I can't move my head very far and it hurts my neck, so I gotta find the right way here. Find the right opening. Oh, wait, it took me down here? That's messed up. Well, it took me all the way down here. So that hole that I was climbing probably would have taken me back here. So this is sit and pissers versus sink and pissers. Yes, but the sit and pissers do it because they don't want to make a mess, okay? So fundamentally, the sink pissers are wrong because they want to make a mess. Imagine brushing your teeth and it smells like piss. You realize too, like it's different drains, right? Right? Like one's a sewer drain. Like if you were in an RV, you would know that it's a different type of drain, right? You would know that the drain for your sink goes to like the gray water, and then you would know that the drain for your sewer line would go to like the septic tank, and that you could reuse the water. Like, you know what it is? It just goes to show that you've never been in an RV. That's really what the sink pissing thing is. You've never been in an RV, and thus you don't know about the gray water line versus the sewer water line, which doesn't exist in real life, and so all the water goes to the same place. But I'm just saying, you'll never be prepared to live in an RV. You will never be able to afford a home, and you'll never be able to escape the housing market if you don't stop pissing in the sink. You have to practice now. Because the houses aren't getting cheaper, chat. They aren't getting cheaper. They're not getting cheaper. And so the more that you piss in a sink, the worse it's going to be for your future outlook in terms of like you being able to afford your home. I'm sure this is the way. Though they did say the gut has many different ways through. It can depend on the houseless country. In your place, they go to the same place. Yeah, no, I think it's most places that they go to the same place. I think it's every place, really, because it's like, if I'm designing a sewer line, though, again, I'm not an... So, I'm not an engineer. In my mind, if I'm designing, like, a series of pipes for things like sinks and stuff, right? That's gonna kill me. I wouldn't trust people to know where something goes. Like, I wouldn't trust that people would know that, like, oh, to not throw shit down the sink. Or, like, piss inside of the, like, thing. So it's like, I would try to design it in such a way that all the water goes with the presumption that people are going to piss inside of the sink. I think if you're a civil engineer and you don't design for the fact that the people in your city are basically animals, I think you're doing something wrong. It's the same reason why we have red lights, to tell people to stop the car. Because people fundamentally cannot stop the car even if they see a car in front of them. There's something wrong where people look at a car in front of them, see that they're going to hit it, but they still press the gas. They legitimately cannot stop themselves from hitting the gas. To be clear, you got my joke. You like to examine jokes in a serious way. You think the joke gets better as it gets closer to the truth. So true. Okay, I do agree. I do agree that as the satire gets like more and more realistic, and as the satire gets closer and closer to some level of like truth, it can upgrade. You know what? Okay, you know what? Then I take it back. I think you're fine to examine the joke in that way. I thought you were doing the thing where it's like... Because I've had this problem before with other chatters. Not like any of the chatters here, but like I definitely had some chatters who like come in and they go, well, actually... And it's like, no, buddy. Like, this is a shitpost thing. And like, you know, we're we're playing on the idea of like the holiday party sucks, and like, you know, we're playing on the idea of like no one really wants to spend time with the family, even though they're not going through the like trauma, right? And some people just don't get that. But if it's about finding a better satire, I think I appreciate that. Because I'm not a good comedian. Sure. Sink is usually placed ideally to piss in it, and the fact that it wasn't created for it only makes it better. True! It's like a taboo! Wait, you're onto something. It's like a fetish. It's fetishistic to piss in your sink, and you're right. Because think about this. Urinals are usually the same height as a sink. And the only difference between a urinal and a sink is the fact that one automatically flushes, and the other one you have to manually flush. Okay, I'm starting to see the point of the sink pissers, and that's making me afraid of myself. What's that saying? It's like when you can start to understand the evil, and you can start to feel, and like... When you can start to relate with the evil, that's when you start to become evil or something. There's something along those lines. It's like, I killed you because you started making sense. I killed you, not because I think that you're I killed you not because what you're saying is wrong, but because it's starting to make sense to me. Or like, I hate you because it's starting to make sense to me. You know what I mean? 60% sarcasm and 40% sincerity is the perfect ratio. Well, it depends on the school of math that you subscribe to. I subscribe to the baking ratio stuff, where they talk about things in like quarts and in cups. I think of it in terms of like, 7 cups of one thing to 20 cups of another. That's the good ratio. Oh shit. I'm also hitting my wall, sorry. Do you see? A little bit of serious examination makes the joke better. And now it will always call to Call of the Sink. So true. Yeah, but the problem is that I don't know enough about orphans. Like, I only know enough to make fun of them, but not enough to appreciate their concerns. You know what I mean? Because it may surprise you, but like, I do have a family. It may surprise you to know this, but I have a family, and so it's like it's hard for me to sort of like feel the same way that an orphan does. We have, how much time do we have? We have 17 minutes. The Call of the Sink. The Call of the Sink. Yeah, I picked a really hard one, yeah. But that's the thing, right? I enjoy exploring topics that are difficult for me to explore fully, because if I never do, how will I ever know? It's why I think jokes about sex go really well on Twitch. It's that unknown that really makes it special. That makes you go, ha 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 ha. And everyone pretends to laugh as if they like know, but no one really knows. No one really knows. Oh fuck! Oh no! Oh, that's really bad. The stalactites. You've got to be careful not to break the stalactites over your head. It'll fall on you. And when it hits you, well, let's just say you won't be going home. I don't know, there's something there. I mean, but just because I see the point of pissing in a sink, and just because I see the fetishistic nature as well as the very utilitarian placement of it, doesn't mean that I agree with it morally. I look at it just like I look at the dentist. Sure, I should take care of my teeth, but morally, if they wanted me to take care of my teeth, it should have been free. So therefore, I won't do it. I'm lost. I'm now lost. I should have used these more. So I think I went this way before, and it's still a question mark. And this way is like for sure a question mark. But question mark divide by 2, so 0.5, because I know it's sort of there. There we go. That's a good way of doing it. Okay, let's go back in. You know, same thing with like bathtubs, right? I feel like the bathtub is technically the best place to do everything in. You can sleep in it, you can piss in it, you can take a shit in it. And actually the bathtub is technically the best place to do anything in, because you can immediately wash yourself after. Theoretically, there's no other better place. This one I think was like a no-go, I think, but only by half. I think half of it's already done. And this way is, I don't really know. And this way is still, I don't really know. I actually don't know where I'm going. My arms are so tired. He's trying to normalize shitting in... He's trying to normalize shitting in the bath. Look, think about it. If they didn't want you to shit inside of the bath, you wouldn't have been able to clean yourself after doing so. It's literally made for you to shit inside because you clean yourself after. You clean yourself after. I'm so lost. I should have used the markers. Uh-oh. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I came over there because I know based on the piton. It's where I was. I then went inside here. You like real-world situations that are not meant to be funny, but when you look at them from the outside, they're hilarious. I.e. Roblox dating or the signal thing. What's the signal thing? Oh, like the signal war room thing? Yeah. That one was also good. It's like a group chat, but like the wrong kind of group chat. I mean, the Roblox dating thing, I think is like always funny. Like, You know what it is? The Roblox dating thing, it's so absurd that you can't help but think that it's always going to be satire. Like, it just doesn't make sense, even as like a serious thing. So I think that one's actually the perfect bit of comedy where it's so absurd that it being real makes it funnier, because it sounds fake. Unless that's what you were trying to like say. In which case, I agree with you. Are they actually still going through with that, by the way, the like Roblox thing? Because again, that's like a crazy thing to like have. Because like, isn't the whole platform like just kids waiting on your beloved shit? Me when I'm sitting on the, me when I'm a I don't know, Shakespeare when he's on the toilet, something like that. So this is a no from this side. Maybe this is an okay. I'm not really sure. And this is an unknown. My arms are so tired from writing at that angle. It's something about the angle that you have to write things in that makes it hard. I don't think it's this way. I feel it in my bones. I think it's this way. I'm not waiting. Oh, waffling. Waffling! True, waffle stomping. I don't think this is the way. I think I know the connection. That would connect to here. This is the way. The stomach. The stomach swallows you whole, and thus you will never find a way out. Now you're stuck in here forever, son. I'm glad you joined me, Jake, me and Sam. We were getting lonely down in these caves. Oh, to be stuck with your own... to be stuck inside of a cave with your own son. Don't you want to die with us, Jake? Doesn't that make you happy, Jake? My arms are tired. Yeah. Oh god, you activated the caca, Hima. My arms are tired. It's the repetitive motion with the shoulders being up. It's actually very painful. It's not even like a physically tiring thing. It's just the fact that like I feel it wearing down my joints, and I'm too old for this. It's actually pretty impressive whenever I see someone that's like older getting into certain sports like this, because I'm like, I know on the one hand, the more you do it, the better you are at it, because your body gets more and more used to it, right? But like, even then, you're still not beating the pain. And that pain that you feel is, oh my god, I went backwards. And that pain that you feel has to be strong. You learned some time ago that the Signal app was also some app that used Signal but was developed by Israel. You think it stored messages in plain text. There's a DEF CON conference on it, and it's scary and hilarious. Yeah, it's the Signal app is just like it was touted as like a secure messaging app, but like it's one of those things where it's only as secure as you can use it. I mean, security is always sort of like, you know, it's like what you can do with it, and it's sort of really dependent on sort of the way that you use it versus necessarily how it's designed in many ways. And also like who owns it is also important, because like if it's owned by somebody who has access to it, then that's not really secure, right? But I think I know exactly what the talk that you're talking about, because yeah, I think that was the first thing that I saw of it too. Like I knew of its existence a long time ago in terms of Signal, because like I have friends who use Signal to message their family because they're afraid of like privacy things. But at the same time, it's just like after like just thinking about an application that's like owned by a single group and then believing that it's secure, like it just feels like a folly to me to believe that it's anywhere near as safe as you would want it to be. So you tell I'm getting tired because my writing sucks, so I'll just go over here. I actually think it's funny that people are using digital messaging services and expecting it to be secure. Because in my mind, if I wanted a secure messaging system, right, I wouldn't use a digital service. I would use paper. I would give it to somebody physically, and then I would either burn it with it.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Come on. Sweet mother. I'm like 2 years older now.
Sweet mother, I'm like 2 years older now. Maybe it's a real voice actor, but it's definitely missing some quality. But yeah, it's like anytime I see someone say, oh, we have to be secure, and then they use an application, I always go like, I think you're missing the point of the security thing. Of like privacy as a whole. Like if you really want privacy, really what you would want is something that has no digital analog. and has no control. Oh, shit, I'm so lost. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. You mean they didn't use the original? If they used it, it'd be better. It's quite well encrypted. Wait, it was a bootleg? I thought it was I thought it was the real signal. I thought they were actually using the real signal, and then people just like, but they didn't change like the settings. But they used the bootleg version where it's not even the settings. It's just the fact that they didn't even like use like the real thing. That's interesting. Yeah, because like end-to-end encryption works as long as, you know, you trust the provider of it. I just don't trust providers in general for things like end-to-end encryption because I feel like it's too easy for them to just sort of go, you know what I mean? Time to show what you have, right? Like it's too easy for them to be infiltrated, if that makes sense. I know this sounds very like, you know, very, very like conspiracy theory, but it's not uncommon to have like a single source of truth be sort of like taken over. No, end-to-end encryption also implies that they don't have that, but it's sort of like up to you to trust that they don't have that, and it's up to you to trust that that's not happening. Though I do remember that like WhatsApp and Signal, they have their source code open, which I mean probably says something, and they also do independent audits where like they do show that it is presumably secure. So, but again, who really knows? That's the joke. Well, I thought the joke was more that they were just doing it inside of a group chat and that they were doing it with like poor settings. Like I knew that the joke was them being inside of a chat room and doing things just in the open, but I thought the technicality of the joke was more that they misconfigured it or something. I don't know where I'm going. That's where I came from. This is new. I thought it was like the technicality of it was just a misimplementation on their end, and then it was sort of like the joke is like you know the incompetency, but it seems like the incompetency stems even further than just they misconfigured it into they didn't even use like the correct thing at all, and then made some photo and DEF CON guys noticed on the photo and then hacked it and shared it over the internet. Oh, so that's how it happened. So it happened because the guy hacked it and then shared it. Okay, maybe I didn't see the same thing. Also, the reporter was added because they used some Alexa thing for creating a message. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, true. I forgot about that angle too, where they added where they added the random reporter. I forgot about that. Is that actually how? Like they used some chatbot and they were like, "Hey, add this person," but the chatbot thought that was their name because they shared the same name. Is it actually why? Because that's pretty funny. I made it. I think I finally made it, chat. I think I know where I'm going. Wait, no, this is bad. I'm just going in the circles now. This is the same spot as last time. This map sucks. This map fucking sucks. This map fucking sucks. Where's the menu? Menu. Exit to menu. That map sucks. Not that it's a bad map, but because like it's so confusing and my arms are getting tired that I can feel myself. This is the other problem with VR. I don't like VR for long play sessions is very tough. Like even as much as I love VR, the hard part is really the physicality of it. Some of these motions don't feel good in a fake space. They might feel good in the real world, but because it's only your arms and you keep moving at these like weird angles because of the way that your head is, especially if you're doing like a sitting VR like I am. It can feel very, very painful to do so. It's probably better if I'm doing standing VR, but I can't. Not because of my body, but because I only have one tracker, one lighthouse. Because standing, you can at least spin around. Let's go straight to the end. Let's see what happened with this one. Rocks blocking path can be split by driving a piton and hitting it with a hammer. That's cool.
Mr. Hollis. I'm Mary Carr, World Caving Association.
Hey.
We have an emergency.
What's the emergency?
A Newcomb earthquake damaged their nuclear power plant, and there's a leak of heavy water.
What?
People are worried about the safety of their drinking water, so we need to test it fast. But our regular team isn't available. Would you be able to help?
Wow. That's a cool angle. Reminds me of Infra.
Thank you for getting here so fast. We need to collect water samples from different heights in the cave. You'll need a rope and a water sampler. Pick them up.
It reminds me of Infra, where a character is just like random civil engineer, and they go in to like fix the problem. But here they take that as well. That's a cool way of doing it, to like show that like that cave divers do actually have real jobs, and they aren't just there to hang out inside the cave.
Basics. Reach the piton at the tunnel's end.
And I like that too, because it's you know, it's interesting that they can use the same gameplay framework to tell different stories, right? Where it's not just the story about Jake and his father; it's also the story about what's going on here. Okay.
Trigger to open the carabiner and attach it to
carabiner. I thought it was a carabiner, but okay.
Use the right thumbstick up or down to ascend or descend.
That's sick.
To get off the rope, just push trigger close to your chest.
That's sick.
Okay, you're good to go, I guess. Collect 6 water samples.
Okay, you're good to go.
From the upper shaft branches.
The what?
You need to minimize your time at the very bottom.
Wait, why?
Because if the water's really radiated, down there will be worse.
Ah, I'll get cancer. I see. The risk of cancer is too high. This is cool. I actually like this. This is a cool mechanic. Holy fuck. I don't know if I like this. This is terrifying. Holy fuck. Holy shit. Oh fucking god. Oh god. Oh my god. Oh Jesus. Oh god, this is terrifying. Holy shit, this is good. This is a really cool mechanic, and you can actually swing around. It's almost like you gotta be careful how you swing. Holy hell. Holy hell. Oh my god. This is awful. This is terrifying. Okay, go over there. Keep going. What's happening? There's no more rope. Oh shit, there's no more rope. Carabiner. Yeah, I thought it was a carabiner. Almost like a carbine rifle. How do I swing? Swing? Okay, swing. Swing. How do I swing? Uh-oh. Mayday. Mayday. I don't know how to swing here. There we go. Swing. Swing. Uh-oh. Chad, I'm stuck. We're gonna die inside the caves again. This isn't good. Slowly going. But yeah, you think he said Alexa made the group chat with the group that he had defined. You're not sure if the reporter guy was part of the group or if Alexa added them. I mean, either way, that's like funny that like a chat bot was the reason that was even seen, because it's like, it just goes to show the level of incompetence there. I have an idea. Watch this. I'm gonna let go, and as I fall, ah! That felt awful. That felt awful. Wow, that felt really bad. Okay, it's a bit of an interesting thing. We have to make it all the way to the bottom, and we need to be able to transfer off into a separate piton at some point. And I should transfer often. I should try to transfer as much as I can, because if I don't transfer often, it's going to be very difficult for me to touch anything as I go down. Because once you hit the bottom, I don't know how the swinging mechanic works, but it definitely doesn't seem like it works very well. It's like the one mechanic that I can see being very clunky here. But yeah, honestly, like a game like this having more interesting gameplay beyond just the normal, you know, you're doing. I messed up. This game having more mechanics than just climbing is interesting. Where you now have or like climbing with the objective of like using the skill to do something. It feels like a VR version of Yearn, because the demo of Yearn was cool, where you're climbing, but you're climbing and it's like a survival game at the same time. It feels like that. It feels like they took climbing as a framework, or like White Knuckle, right? It's the same idea of like they take it as a framework and then they add interesting mechanics to it that make it more than just a simulation game, where it's not just co-op anymore. Like you're actually playing a video game that has it as a base. Does it make sense? It's a good game. I can feel myself getting wary though. Getting a little weary. Because as cool as the VR stuff is, climbing in VR is probably the hardest thing to do. Please. Please, 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 no, please. Is this what it feels like to be stuck in space? Is this what it feels like to be stuck in space? Get over there. Get over there. Get over there. Get over there, please, 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 please. Is this what it feels like to be stuck in space? Oh god, I'm gonna die. But this really goes to show, there's definitely something weird with like the VR stuff. It seems hard to make it feel smooth. It seems very hard to make it feel easy to understand. Like there's something about it that feels kind of clunky in places. And I think it's just because of the fact that it's still so early. But still, in spite of all those issues, it's pretty good as is. Just need to figure out how to get to... Please, please, please. No, please, please. I don't want to die here. Yes. Okay, folks. Let's do this. Let's do this. Unclip me. Please unclip me. Please unclip me. Okay, I think this is where... There we go. I was gonna say, I think this is where we call it for this game. Because it's a really, really good game. But I think it needs more... I think you need more energy and time to play it. And I don't really have the energy today to go for very long. But this was a fun experience. Of the types of VR games that I could think of, climbing is one of those types of games that I thought would be really fun. And honestly, this is a very fun climbing game. It does a lot of really cool things. The story is sort of interesting in the angle that it takes of somebody reconnecting with their father and sort of understanding who they are as a person. And then the way that the story progresses to almost like develop both the father as a side character into a main character as well as the main character themselves and their relationship with the father is cool in the context of the climbing. The mechanics are solid. My controllers, I guess the sweaty hands really doesn't help, especially because I'm freaking out and I feel the anxiety. This game really captures that like fear that I see when I watch a cave diving video of somebody going through a cave. It gives me the same feelings, but because the abstraction is there of like I can see just my real world at the bottom of my view because the headset isn't like airtight. It doesn't make it so impossible that you can't go through it. And so it changes it from a purely terrifying experience to one that has a little fear and is still very interesting to go through. And then, honestly, the environments are very well made. Like, in terms of like the quality of the environments and what they look like. Even though it's all just caves, it's been interesting to see what they've been able to do with just caves. Where the caves themselves, even though it's all just a cave, it feels like every single cave we've been to has been unique in a way. And then you have the mechanic of the lights, you have the mechanic of the pitons to like make a much more dynamic pathway through the cave. You have the mechanic of, I mean now even the carabiner, and I can imagine what's the next too, right? And then the way that the story evolves from presumably us reconnecting with the father and then deciding to be like a cave diver as well, into what we're doing now, which is like helping the world do research. So it's like an interesting mix of showing. Almost because I don't know how real this is, but maybe this does happen because surely there's research on caves to figure out what's like going on, and to see that come to life in this game, it's cool. It's a very grounded take on the climbing experience, and it's sort of weird because it's like I wouldn't have expected cave diving to be such a climbing experience. In my mind, cave diving was just sort of like you go through a space and you just try to like wiggle your way down. But this game is interesting in that it has the same core framework that something like White Knuckle and Piece of Yore has. But it's just much more grounded, much more slower paced, much more sort of like, I don't know how to say this, it's kind of cozy to hang here. Whereas in Piece of Yore, it's kind of stressful when you're trying to swing and you swing left and right and you miss the jump. Or even like White Knuckle, when like you can feel the dread of everything, of like the water rising and like the things trying to grab you and then catch you. Which, by the way, White Knuckle also has a new update. I've been meaning to play because there's a whole new map, but not today. As good as a climbing game this is, and as good as a game this is, it's very hard to go VR climbing for a long time. Like, of the VR games, this is the most tiring VR game so far. Whereas like Blade and Sorcery, I felt like it wasn't as tiring as this. I felt like Blade and Sorcery was much more easier to go through, in the sense of like even though you're swinging your arms a lot, there's not much. I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like the range of motion that your arms would like go through was mostly horizontal. So it didn't feel bad. Like, it was mostly horizontal. It didn't feel like your shoulders were in pain. It didn't feel like you were stretching your joints very much. If anything, it felt like your motions were very much fit to the way that the body moves, which makes sense because like we invented, like we made the weapons to be like that. Whereas cave diving feels like like this game really does make you feel like you're contorting your body in the way that I watch cave divers do that, where I see their bodies contorting to fit into a space, and they have to reach their hands upside down to get like a good grip over here. They get like reach behind them to grab like a piton and stuff. It has that feeling, and so it's much more, I think, exhausting on your joints. Because I can feel it more in my joints than when I was boxing in Blade and Sorcery. It doesn't mean that it's a bad game, but it definitely does mean that I think if you're not already used to those weirder motions, then I don't think it's possible. Because I don't do anything that involves like a weird motion with my joints. I'm like a very straightforward body kind of person. I don't do yoga. I don't do any crazy stretches. I barely stretch as is, which is probably bad for me. And so it's like my flexibility is very poor, even though I can really swing my arms and like move them and I have a good understanding. I can't really get the full range of motion, and really that's what this game feels like. You need like a fairly good range of motion. But it's good. It's a solid game. I just can't do it anymore.